Today we're going to continue our trend of extremely lucky teams in the 2016 NHL Draft Lottery and talk about the Columbus Blue Jackets. This is going to be a one-taker, so I apologize if I stumble sometimes. I'm extremely busy. My phone is acting up, and I'm going to get a new one, so don't worry about that. But the Columbus Blue Jackets had a terrible season last year, and I mean terrible. And I'm going to tell you the main reason for that was that they had the worst injury luck I think I've ever seen in all my years of watching hockey. They had like 8 or 9 call-ups from minor league players because of injuries in the first month alone. They just had injuries left, right, and center. I remember the Leafs played them 2 weeks into the season, and I knew half the team. It was unbelievable. They fired their coach after not getting a win the first 8 or 9 games and hired, of all people, John Tortorella, the angriest coach in NHL history, maybe. Now, we're going to talk about him because John Tortorella deserves to be talked about all the time because he's a hilarious man. A lot of people don't like him. I like him as a coach. I'm not sure if he's great with the media in the aspect of he needs to learn to get along with them a lot better. Bottom line, I was being too nice by saying that earlier. He's a horrible person when it comes to talking to the media, and he needs to improve that. I'm surprised he survived in New York for as long as he did, the way he treated some of the media. And he doesn't take no shit. He really doesn't. I mean, he takes absolutely no garbage from anybody. Now, they don't have a lot of UFAs coming in. They got Rene Bourque. But the thing is, they do not have a ton of cap space. If I check here, they have $7.442 million in cap space. Thank you, David Clarkson, and the trade that will forever haunt the Columbus Blue Jackets and make the Leafs fans very, very, very happy. But one player I want to talk about them maybe going out to get this season is Chris Russell. I think he's an amazing player. Defensively, he blocks more shots than anybody in the NHL. He works hard. He gives it 100% every shift. Good defenseman. He can play maybe first-line minutes with someone like Seth Jones or Jack Johnson. He can play big minutes. He's a great defenseman, and they might be able to scoop him up for maybe $6 million. So that's definitely a defenseman I think they should look into. Now, talking about that Seth Jones for Ryan Johansson trade, the winner, we're not going to know right now. Both teams got what they wanted. Nashville needed a centerman. They got a first-line center in Ryan Johansson. Columbus needed defense. They got a top 2 defenseman, but potential all-star one day in Seth Jones. Both young. So it's extremely important to just understand that we're not going to know the winner of that trade for maybe 3 or 4 more years. Is Seth Jones a RFA this season? Yes, he is. Seth Jones is an RFA this summer. This is when I usually edit me looking at the page, but I can't memorize everything. He's a RFA, though. He's going to want, hopefully, in my opinion, he should be getting a bridge deal because if I was him, I'd be taking a bridge deal. He's a great hockey player, but he hasn't. I thought he'd be farther along now than he would be when he was drafted, but then again, he was playing behind guys like Roman Josi, Shea Weber, Ryan Ellis. He was not one of Nashville's best defensemen by far. He's Columbus's best defenseman in my opinion. If he wants a big payday, I'd give him a 2-year contract of maybe $5 million a year. Then 2 years from now, you can cash in big at maybe $8 million if he maxes out his potential in a couple of years. So that's something to also consider. Sergei Bobrovsky, he, again, injuries plagued for most of the season last year. He had trouble staying in the lineup most of the time. He's not Sergei Bobrovsky of a couple years ago, who was always in the Vezina conversation, maybe top 10 goalie in the NHL. He's not in that conversation anymore. He's still a good goalie. He's still a starting goalie, in my opinion. Can he make it to the playoffs? Can he help a team get to the playoffs? Yeah. Can he win a Stanley Cup? No. He's just not that goalie yet. So that's definitely a little bit of a concern. He also carries quite a hefty cap hit. So Columbus might have to rethink about their strategy moving forward with Sergei Bobrovsky as the number 1. They do have a prospect, Oscar Dansk, who is a pretty good goalie. From what I've seen so far, he might be able to take the next step in a year or two. All in all, I mean, Columbus's offseason, they got to figure out what to do with Seth Jones. How much are you going to pay him and how much are you going to give him? A little bit of help on defense, and they need to find players to play for John Tortorella because that's a tough thing to do. John Tortorella is an extremely demanding coach. He takes nothing away from the value of his players. He understands it all, but he doesn't take any crap from them. So you need to find players that can fit into John Tortorella's coaching strategy and put them in because they're going to be the ones that are going to help Columbus get to the playoffs. Not a player like, say, maybe Ryan Johansson, who wasn't willing to play the way that John Tortorella really wanted him to. And within a month or two later, he was gone. So I know this was not the best video, guys. I'm extremely busy. Like I said, my phone's kind of acting up. I should be getting a new one tomorrow or the next day. So maybe the next video or two would be just like this, but they'll get back to normal soon, I promise. If you watched this whole thing, I congratulate you, because I'm sure it was kind of painful. But thank you for watching. It means so much. Please like, please subscribe. Please like my Facebook page, all about hockey. That's all I talk about, like I always say all the time. Link is down below. It's called The Hockey Gods. And please email me any questions, or if you just want to talk hockey, to tmlshanaclan19@gmail.com. That email will also be down below. Thank you guys for watching. That's the Columbus Blue Jackets off-season plan. And tomorrow I'll be back with the... You'll wait and see.